Good morning, welcome back to the vlog. Hey guys, it is a Tuesday and we are vlogging. August is eating breakfast and I'm about to make myself some breakfast and some coffee and enjoy this morning. I did not take a shower yet, so we're gonna do one of my least favorite activities, which is take a shower while August is awake because we have stuff to do today. So let's do breakfast, coffee, I'm gonna take a shower, and then I'll catch up with you guys later. Okay, I am showered, dressed, and we are on our way to activity number 1 today. We're actually gonna be a little bit late, but just a little bit. I hope it's not a big deal. We're going to the Genius Bar at the Apple store because, and this sucks, but it is true, I bought a laptop last week. I was really excited about it. I've been thinking about doing it for months, but they're very expensive. I mean, the nice thing about Apple is that you can put them on a payment plan, which is what I did. That being said, I bought this nice laptop that I've been thinking about forever. That's right, Goosey. I was very excited about it. And it died. It died about 6 days after I had it, so I've been working on it for 6 days. So yeah, we're gonna walk around the mall and maybe get lunch at the mall, which is usually something we only do on Saturdays, but you know what? Say lovey, one in Rome, one at the mall. Okay, we are back. We went to Chipotle, we got lunch at Chipotle, so it is gonna be Goosey's nap time in 10 minutes, and we're 10 minutes from home. So that works out perfectly. Guess what? Nothing was wrong with my computer. Brought it in, they plugged it in, turned on fine, worked fine, charged fine. They ran, I mean, they were super, super nice at the Sherman Oaks Apple store. A+ customer service. They were really sweet. They were just like, you know, they were trying to find something wrong with this computer for me because I was like, I swear to God it crashed and it won't turn back on in my house. They plugged it in, turned on perfectly. They ran every diagnostic test I think you could think of on this thing. Everything came back squeaky clean. So, but they were like, no, we believe you. We want to make sure it's not going to happen again. Sorry, Goosey has a toy that makes noise. So like, they sat me down. They're like, what were you doing? How are you holding the laptop? Like, what was plugged in? Like, tell us everything and we'll try and figure this out. So I told them, and they were like, the only thing they could think of was that I had too many hard drives plugged in because I'm used to working off of an iMac, which I guess, according to them, I didn't know any of this, has its own, like, well, I guess this makes sense, has its own power source, right? I don't know. I guess basically the MacBooks can't handle as much, like, external power as the iMacs can, which does make sense. So they were like, honestly, what you should do is go home and recreate the setting that you were in when it happened and see if it happens again, because then you'll have your answer. And then basically you just have to work off of one hard drive at a time, because I have 3 hard drives that I work off of for different clients based off of, like, for a number of reasons. That's just how I have my shit organized. I can work off of one at a time. I'm never like bouncing back and forth between hard drives, but I usually just have them all plugged in so that whatever I need is like there ready to go. Anyway, so I'm gonna do what they said. I'm gonna recreate it, and if it crashes, they said, like, the good news is that they know it'll turn back on, and then I know what the problem is. I'm sure they're right. Literally, they were so sweet. And we went to Chipotle. I also got myself a boba. Like, you know, when in Rome, when at the mall. I think I already said that in this video. But August is probably very full from his quesadilla and he's due for a nap, so we're gonna go home. Okay, August is asleep. He fell right asleep, like instantly. Upon, like, you know, I turn all the lights off, shut the windows, turn on the sound machine, and he already was like falling asleep on my shoulder before I could even start like singing to him. So excellent. And by the way, somebody asked, we are down to 1 nap. It's 1:15 and he fell asleep like 5 minutes ago. So he'll probably be hopefully asleep until like 3:15ish. So during his nap, I always work. And today on my schedule was, I was gonna film a video for this channel. I was gonna film a try on video, but I ordered clothes for this try on and they have not arrived. I'm tracking the package. It was supposed to get here yesterday. That didn't happen. So it's now saying it'll get here today between 2:30 and 5:30. It does say that it's out for delivery. So I think it will get here today, but obviously his nap will be almost over. If it gets here at 2:30, it'll be completely over. It gets here at 5:30. So I'm gonna rearrange my schedule a little bit and film that tomorrow. What am I gonna do tomorrow during his nap? I was gonna edit. I was gonna edit the video that I was gonna film today. Okay, I have to work my schedule on it. It's neither here nor there. I'm on top of myself. I feel like I'm always afraid to say that. So I'm feeling pretty good about my schedule right now. So I'm not too worried about it. Also, my MacBook is apparently not broken. So that's great. So I'm just going to sit here and, honestly, I'll probably work on my schedule. I'll probably work on my schedule during this nap. That's what I'll do. Oh, you know what I'll do? I would love to, with you guys, go through the books I read in April. So this vlog will be coming out in the early May. As I'm filming this, it is April 29th. So tomorrow's the last day of April. And I've read a lot of books, but instead of doing like a fully everything I read in April focused video, I will just go over that with you right here on the vlog and we can just talk about it. I read a lot of books in April. You know, in the last couple of months, I'm like, oh, I read so many books because I've been really sick, or I've been reading so many books because, well, mostly that, right? I was really sick in February and March. So I had lots of time. I read a lot of books. I actually have no idea. I haven't looked at how many I've read, but I assume it's a lot. My only excuse here now is that I haven't been working out. So I have time to read in the morning and I don't sleep. That's really what it is. I don't sleep. Let's go to my Goodreads account. By the way, 100%, this computer is working totally fine. It's honestly, it's rude. And see what I read in April. I am Rachel Rambles on Goodreads if you want to find me. I don't write reviews. So really you would just be keeping up with what I'm reading. I do little stars, but I don't write reviews. Okay, more of Rachel's books. And sometimes, by the way, Goodreads doesn't catch everything I read. Not to be weird, but I feel like I read really fast. And I've had experiences where like, oh my God, I forgot I read half of these. Holy shit, I read a lot of books in April. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, I read 25 books. Oh my God, is that true? I do feel like this didn't catch them all. I think I read more than that. I already see that I'm missing some here. Well, let's talk about them. So, for those of you who do not watch my book videos, who skip them, but you do like to watch my vlogs, I'm gonna keep this little section short, so don't worry too much. I guess if you wanna skip all book-related topics and conversation, you can go to this timestamp. But let's talk about what I read in April. I read 26 books, to my knowledge. First of all, if you are deciding to stick around, here's what you should know about me and my reading habits. I read for pleasure, not to better myself, learn more about the world around us. I don't like to read books that challenge me too much. I know that might make me seem simple, but I only read for pleasure and for fun. I like my brain to work through the book like water. I like it to just pour over me, and I like it to give me good vibes. So I primarily, consistently, not like only, like I will read other books, but like pretty much if I get to pick what I'm gonna read, I'm reading a romance novel. Pretty sure everything I read this month was a romance novel. I also have like a specific proclivity. I like to read queer romance novels, but that's not all I read. Like I read straight people romance novels. But I think most of what I read in April was probably queer. I also, like, if I find an author that I like, I stick with them and I go on these big sprees, which happened a couple of times this month. So let's just start at the beginning. I'm just gonna list what I read and what I gave it, and if I have any like thing to editorialize, I'll say. But again, I'm not gonna do a full review of every book. First of all, there's too many, and secondly, yeah, I don't know. I think that this will just be the way to do it. So if you're curious what I read and what I thought about it, and you just are looking for some stuff to read, this could be the little segment for you. Okay. So first I read the For Him series by A.M. Johnson. I believe I found A.M. Johnson by looking at romance.io, which is often how I find romance books that I want to read. If you're familiar with the romance genre, you know there's a lot of tropes, common repeated tropes in books, and I certainly have ones that I like, so I typically search by like tropes that I like, or, you know, steam level, right? Because like a lot of these books get pretty sexy. I don't like when books are too sexy, but I also don't like when there's not enough sexiness. You know what I mean? So I'm always like, four little fire emojis on the romance.io is usually what I go for out of 5, if you guys are curious. So anyway, I believe I found the series through romance.io, which is just like a database resource for romance novels. So I read all of them. I read Love Always Wild, Not So Sincerely Yours, Dear Mr. Brody, To Whom It May Concern, and Forever Con Amore. To Whom It May Concern was just like a little short story. I gave all of them 5 stars. I would like to take this moment again to say that I give a romance novel 5 stars if it gives me the romance feelings that I seek. So I like a little drama, a little tension, a very happily ever after, but I feel like it has to be earned, and I feel like I have to be in love with the characters as well. That's what gets you 5 stars. Sometimes if it's really poorly written, I'll knock the author down for that, but like, frankly, I don't care. So all of those got 5 stars because they all gave me the good feelings. I was so sad when I read the last one. I wanted there to be more, but I read what I could. Then I read the book Go Luck Yourself. This is part of a series called Royals and Romance. I did not read the first one. I also found this on romance.io. It was also available on Kindle Unlimited, and it's a queer romance novel this one was between the King of St. Patrick's Day and the spare heir of Christmas. The first book in the series was apparently between the heir apparent of Christmas and the King of Halloween. I didn't read that one. This one had more of an enemies to lovers trope, and it was like, you don't have to read the first one to read the second one. As I was reading it, I was kind of like, I should have read the first one. But it was okay. It was cute. It was a little too out there for me. I think I've been reading a lot of grounded romances, and by that I just mean like based in like earth, right? Not paranormal, not fantasy, just like romance, straight up romance. So I think like my brain wasn't ready for the switch. So I gave this one 4 stars. I'm pretty sure that was why, if I can recall correctly. Then I read some straight people books, for those of you who are interested. I read Flawless and Heartless back to back by Elsie Silver. These are books 1 and 2 in the Chestnut Spring series, which has been highly recommended to me because I love the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. So this is kind of like similar like country vibes, although it takes place in Canada, which I was like, oh, I guess there is like a lot of farmland in Canada. So this kind of thing exists there. I really liked them. If I recall, I gave both of them 5 stars. Solid cowboy romances. I did like Heartless a little bit better than Flawless. I definitely felt like their romance was slightly more well earned, but yeah, great series. I'm trying to remember why I didn't. I think I was just like not in the mood to finish it, but I have it bookmarked. Like I have a running list of books that I want to read, and it's on there, and they are all currently on Kindle Unlimited, so they're easy for me to read. So I think, you know, I was just like, I'll get back to that series later. Then I read Romeo Falling, another romance.io recommendation. I gave it 3 stars. It was fine. A little, I don't know, not involved. Maybe I read this trope too many times, but I was just not feeling it. Then, then I found A.J. Truman. A.J. Truman is without a doubt one of my new favorite authors of 2025. Did I follow him on social media? I wanted to because I'm obsessed with his work. I think he like writes a lot, so there's always stuff coming out. Yeah, there he is. Okay. Oh my God, he only has 3,900 followers. You guys, if you're into queer romance, male romance, please go follow A.J. Truman because you're about to find out. Okay, so I read all of the books in the Single Dads Club, of which there are 4. The Falcon and the Foe, The Mayor and the Mystery Man, The Barkeep and the Bro, and The Fireman and the Flirt. Incredible introduction to A.J. Truman. I gave all of them, I gave The Mayor and the Mystery Man 4 stars. I don't remember why I did that, but I gave all the rest of them 5 stars. And I love a single dad romance. If you've seen my other book review videos, you know I love a single dad romance. I don't know what it is about it. I love single dad second chances. I have no idea where that comes from. I just love that trope so much. That being said, these books gave me my little romance tingles that I love so much. So I was like, all right, more by A.J. Truman, please. I then read, and this was my favorite, I read 3 series by him. And these series are like, typically the way that these romance series works is that they're like, you could read each one of them individually without knowing the rest of them, and they would read just fine, but they're interconnected characters. So if you read them in order, you get little like updates on earlier sort of pairings, you know what I mean? And you get introduced to like the next characters. But again, you don't have to read them all. But that's usually what I mean by like a series. It's like interconnected romances that also read well as standalones, in case you're not familiar with the romance genre. Anyway, so I read all of the Single Dads Club series, all 4 of those books. Then I read all 4 of the books in the South Rock High series, which is a series about teachers at this high school. And you know what I really liked about A.J. Truman is that, like, okay, the South Rock High and the Single Dads Club series took place in the same town. And they're all queer male romance books. And I like that every once in a while he's like, wow, there's like a lot of gay guys in this town. I love when they like point it out that it's like slightly unrealistic that there would be like this many like ginormous groups of gay people in a small town. And like I'm trying to remember where it is. Is this the one that's in upstate New York? I can't remember. I'm confusing this with another series that he wrote. But anyway, I do like when they like little throwaway lines in like every other book. I think it's funny. Anyway, so I read the South Rock High series. This was without a doubt my favorite series that I read by him. I read Ancient History, Drama, Romance Languages, and Advanced Chemistry. And they all get 5 stars. Great. I was so obsessed with A.J. Truman at this point. I doubted he was ever going to let me down. My favorite of those was probably either Drama or Romance Languages. I do love a nice jock nerd catch up. Romance Languages was cute because it had like a little body positive spin, which you don't often see in romance novels. Oftentimes the leads in romance novels are just like super fucking hot, and that's that. Perfect bodies, muscles for days, perfect gym routines, like just crazy. But I liked Romance Languages because, first of all, I think that's another reason why I like Single Dads. Romances, oftentimes they don't have perfect bodies. They're a little bit older and they find beauty in like looking like normal ass people. Romance Languages had a little bit of that. Advanced Chemistry was an interesting read for me. I was committed to reading, I think if I just read the description of this one on its own, I wouldn't have read it, but I was committed to reading the series. It's the first throuple, like genuine throuple book I read. Obviously I've read a lot of books where the characters have threesomes. That was not what this was. This was 3 people falling in love with each other and all dating each other. And I really liked it. I don't know if it's gonna be like my thing. Like I'm not gonna probably seek that out in the future, but I was excited that it, you know, I got to read something a little different. Okay, then I stuck with A.J. Truman. So at this point I've now read 8 of his books, right? Yes. And then I was like, please tell me there's more. So before those series, he had written a Browerton University series, which is 8 books? 7 books that takes place around this university. So I read Out in the Open, Out on a Limb, Out of My Mind, Out for the Night, Out of This World, and Outside Looking In. I read 6 of the 7. I haven't read the 7th one yet. Again, these are all on Kindle Unlimited. And I started having some library books become available right as I was reading the 6th one. So I took a pause to read some of my library books. But all of them got 5 stars except for Outside Looking In. I give it 3. I feel like that was a little harsh. I would give it 4. I didn't really like the main character of that one. I think because they set him up in Out of This World as like a very unlikable ex of the main character of Out of This World. And then we're like, okay, actually you're supposed to sympathize with him as the main character in the next book. And I'm like, it was too thrown off by that. But all the other ones I loved. Maybe Out on a Limb is my favorite. Is that the Single Dad one? I'm obsessed with the Single Dad. I don't know what's wrong with me. Yes, that's the Single Dad one. That's my favorite. Out of the 6 that I read, Out on a Limb and Out for the Night were my favorite, and Out of My Mind and Outside Looking In were my least favorites. And then I stopped reading A.J. Truman, but I read 14 books back to back by A.J. Truman, and I have 2 more loaded up. That's not my Kindle. Where's my Kindle? Here it is. I have 2 more loaded up on my Kindle. Okay, so I'm ready to go. It's just that they're Kindle Unlimited, so they're available right now, like whenever I want. And I got library books to go through. So the next book I read was a library book that came up called Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey. This is part of a interconnected romance series that she's working on. Now I went through, the way I just went through an A.J. Truman kick, I went through a pretty big Tessa Bailey kick last year. So like about a little over a year ago, I was reading all of Tessa Bailey's books. This book, Dream Girl Drama, was part of a series that I had started last year, the Big Shot series. The first 2, is this the Fangirl Down series? I think it is. Hold on, let me double check that. Yes, Fangirl Down and The Au Pair Affair are the first 2 books. I've already read them. Loved Fangirl Down. We need to be writing more books about golfers. My husband golfs, and I don't know, I think when I'm reading straight people romances, I often slot my husband's face in, you know, to the male character. And he actually is a golfer, like a really good golfer, so something about Fangirl Down really got me, but you guys can watch my book review video from last year. Au Pair Affair was fine. Dream Girl Drama, they're getting worse in my opinion. Fangirl Down was the best. Au Pair Affair was not as good, but okay. Dream Girl Drama was less good, but okay. It was alright. It was alright. It was all right. I like Tessa Bailey. Still gets 3 stars, but yeah. Then I was waiting for my next library book. Said it was going to be available like so soon. So in the meantime, I read The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. Is that how you say her name? This book was incredible. The Charm Offensive, possibly my favorite book of the month. I haven't quite decided yet. I'm going to decide that when I'm done going through them all. But definitely gets 5 stars. Loved the setting. Queer romance, incredible. And then just this morning, just in the nick of time for this update, I finished First Time Caller. I liked it. I gave it 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as The Charm Offensive. Oftentimes these star ratings are very much influenced by the books I read before and after. So if I really love a book and then I read a book that I'm like, maybe in another situation I would have really loved, but it's just not as good, then, you know, it gets 4 stars. I think the reason I gave this one 4 stars is because I found the emotional unavailability of the male main character, but like unbelievable. I didn't find it believable. He was like, I can't be what you want, even though I'm hyper aware that I'm desperately in love with you. I was like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know. Something about it, like, maybe it was like too introspective. I don't know. I also like, listen, in romance novels, almost every setup and meet cute is so contrived it would never happen in the real life. But I felt like this one in particular was so unbelievable. It took me out of the realm of reality, even more than these books usually try to do. I don't know. It was 4. I gave it 4 stars. Still gave me all the romance feels. Listen, I'm not mad at it. But is B.K. Borison going to become my next favorite author? Probably not. Maybe not. I don't know. Are there other better books that they've written? If you guys are familiar with them, let me know. Next up, I just had a library book become available this morning. So I will be reading, starting today or tonight, Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herring Blake. So a lesbian romance novel, which is great because a lot of guys in the books I read this last month. So let's get some more girls in the mix, please. Also available right now on my Libby app is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I know that I think a sequel just came out for this one. Is that right? Yes, Say You'll Remember Me. I believe that's the next book in that series. I read one book by Abby Jimenez in the past, which is Yours Truly, which I loved. So I really don't know why I haven't read more Abby Jimenez, but those are my next 2 books like on the docket for May. But yeah, those are all the books I read this month. I know I read a lot. You should know that these books are all like around 300 pages, like they're pretty short. But yeah, I don't know. The one book that I really wanted to read, which was Wild and Wrangled, the new book in the Rebel Blue Red series, I thought I had pre-ordered it, but I didn't. And so I put a hold on it on Libby, and so let's see. Where's the hold at? I have so many holds. 13 weeks away from being able to read that one, which is too bad. But again, as you guys can see, I read a lot of books, so I think it'll be fine. I can wait. My favorite book that I read this month. Let's think about it. Okay, I'm gonna give you my top 3. My top 3 books that I read this month were Not So Sincerely Yours by A.M. Johnson, Out on a Limb by A.J. Truman, and The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane. Those are my top 3. But again, I don't really finish books that I don't like. So if it's on the list, then I liked it. And yeah, I'm going to, like I said, I already told you my next couple reads. That being said, many of the books I've read have been recommendations from you guys. So never stop recommending me novels. You know that I love adult or new adult romance, spicy. I'll read a good fantasy romance, but it's gotta be good. It's gotta be good. I feel like I went through my big fantasy romance kick last year, and I'm always down to get back into it, but I feel like I read all the heavy hitters. So again, I have a couple of fantasy romance novels like lined up, but I'm just not sure. Okay, well, that killed half an hour of Goosey's nap. And now I've updated you. Okay, so what was I gonna do? Oh yeah, I'm gonna rearrange my schedule. Because yes. Oh, Mario and I have to shoot a Patreon video tonight. Okay, that's right. All right, so okay. Okay, you guys don't need to see me hemming and hawing over my schedule. I also have to go to the bathroom. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, Goosey's up. We've just been hanging out, had an afternoon snack, we're playing, but we gotta go to the grocery store. I just remembered, and it's already like almost 5:30, so we gotta like go now-ish. What do you think, bud? Yeah, okay. We're gonna head out. In total, I spent $101, so I was under budget for the week. My budget for the week for all three of us is $150. Could have spent less. I'm a little pissed. So in the last couple months, they haven't been selling eggs at our Trader Joe's because of the egg shortage. So I've been stopping by the Ralph's first to grab 1.5 eggs because obviously it's a lot of eggs and I cook. We just go through a lot. So I usually also stop there to get Banza pasta, which they did not have. And then the pasta sauce that we like, the Rayo's sauce. They did not have Banza pasta for the first time ever at the Ralph's. And then when I got to the Trader Joe's had eggs in stock for the first time in a really long time. So I could have just gone straight to the Trader Joe's and gotten their version of gluten-free pasta and some eggs and their version of sauce and probably spent less money because these are expensive. But I didn't know. Living to learn. Next week, eggs will come from Trader Joe's. And I gotta figure out this Banza pasta situation because I don't even know if this Barilla gluten-free stuff is good. We'll find out this week. So I got that from Ralph's, and then I went to Trader Joe's and I got the rest of my groceries. So I got 3 different salad kits for my lunch. Avocado ranch, sweet chili mango, and southwestern chopped salad. And then to go with that, I got some pre-cooked chicken. So I can just like add the chicken to the salad. August is over here in his bouncer, so that's what noise you're hearing. I'm sure you're aware. Okay, I got milk for August, just regular milk. I got almond milk for me. I'm gonna start going back to making my oats that I used to make all the time. I got some turkey for our pasta dish one night. I got lentils and coconut milk for a curry dish that I like to make. That I've been making a lot lately. I got some refried beans. That is gonna be part of stuffed sweet potatoes. So I got some sweet potatoes. I got bananas. These are just for August for snacks. Bagels. I'm gonna make pizza bagels one night. The gluten-free bagels at Trader Joe's are the best gluten-free bagels in the world. Yogurt for August breakfast and my breakfast. Fancy. Oh, you stop. Fancy. Yellow curry, that's for the curry dish that I make, along with the butternut squash. And then finally, Mario requested iced oatmeal whole grain bars for breakfast, and then dark chocolate covered cherries and cinnamon bun JoJo's for his snack. Are you having so much fun? And then I forgot that Mario went out with August and he spent a little under $30 on his frozen lunches for the week. Still under budget though, huh? Are you ready for dinner? All right, and with that, that's what I got at the grocery store. I'm gonna put everything away, finish making August dinner, get him all settled, and go do bath bed routine stuff. I just got off the phone with Mario and he's on his way home, so hi. So yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you oh so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.